Going to mute myself.
Okay, perfect. So first, we wanted to start with announcements, Leslie and I. On our big RVP call today, they were tossing around ideas of reaching out to all of our entire company's, I guess, database for tournaments regarding our online fundraising. So they really want to hire somebody full-time. That's all they focus on, and not only for just booking them, but what comes with it, right? So somebody that's going to check up on the account, see if they want to switch anything, see how their fundraising is going, if if they're happy with it, if they want to switch out videos, whatever it might be, but they would be doing all of the upkeep for that as well. And so I had explained that a couple of weeks ago on our team call, we just announced that that should be something that you're doing as a follow-up. So we decided on waiting 30 days. And so then that way, basically what I want everybody to know on our teams tonight is that once you're done with an event, we're going to give you 30 days to reach out to that golf tournament that you've worked and any of your past ones, and try to set up an online fundraiser with them. So make sure that you CC your RVP or your TM so that we're all in the know, or actually, you know what I'm going to say, go ahead and CC your RVP for sure. So that way we do know and we can follow up on it. And as long as you have an email out, then that one won't be touched. But I went back and forth personally because I want to reach out to as many of these as possible. I feel like I'm excited to, but have I yet since I taught on it? I was like, not really. I've reached out to a few events. I'll talk to them if I go and cover them. But I think that this happens a lot with most of us, that we're just too busy, and so we have all these different ways of making money. We're trying to go to hero courses. We're talking to tournaments. We're ordering super tickets. We're trying to find coverage and so on and so on. And so I thought, okay, this is going to be pretty fair. So as long as you reach out to them, they're yours. But I wanted everybody to know that that is corporate's plan, to just have somebody solely focus on online fundraising for the golf tournaments. And the other piece that they reminded me of too is that, gosh, if you know somebody who's been hurt or sick and, and they were gonna set up a GoFundMe, this is their way of online fundraising now with us instead. And of course, little league teams, different charities, schools, all of those are totally separate. And I can't imagine that anybody would ever, really cross paths because there's so many different accounts you can start with that. So that's it for our first announcement. Our second announcement, Miss Morgan went ahead and added our 3 different gifting posters. And so what started to happen out here in Florida is I've been teaching, and in California, you guys should be doing this too. If you have 2 different programs, so the Cricket Hole and the TSP at one tournament, we've seen that it works best to maximize, the $25 option, the $50 option, and the $100 option if both holes still offer Cancun and the savings pass. But what we've been doing is making sure that when they pull up and they don't hear that to the very end of your pitch, and all the signage is completely different, then they won't cut you off. So people were coming up and they would see the gifting poster or the Cancun yard sign on both holes, and they were like, oh, we already did this, and they would kind of ignore you or not want to donate when they saw that second hole fundraiser. So what we've been doing, or making sure that we're doing, is that on the Cricket Hole, we've been showing the gifting poster. We'll have the same table signs for the most part, which would be your Cancun FAQ sheet, the savings pass sheet, or table flyer, and then the driver table flyer. And then I always have up the elite, these are different programs, this is who we've worked with, type flyer on there. And then for TSP, you would have the Cancun sign, your hole-in-one sign for yard signs. And then again, some of your table signs will be similar, like the FAQ sheet for Cancun, the savings pass sheet for that. And then you'd have your 22 bets a day and the virtual gift bag. So now, because when I was out there, people would come up on the Cricket Hole and they were like, hole-in-one, but we're on a par 5. Or sometimes, we get stuck on a par 4. They'd be like, what do you mean? And then you win money from closest to the pin. So I am so excited that we have 3 different posters now that are completely geared towards either your trinket hole, a hero hole or TSP, and then any fundraiser. So if you want to almost play it safe, you can just do the any fundraiser one, and all it states is for $50 you get your choice of either the Savings Pass or Cancun, or for $100 you get both. So it's super simple, and you can use that for anything that you're ever doing. Now, our last announcement is our August team contest, which, I mean, gosh, we're only a few days away from August being here. So Leslie and I decided to start it today. And so from today until the end of August, the most programs booked, whether that's Hero Days, TSP, Cricket Hole, or Super Tickets, first place is going to win an extra $150. You know, second is going to win $100, and third place is going to win a $50 gift card. And that's from both of our teams. So whoever, you know, gets first, second, or third for both teams will win that additional money. So we're really excited because I think a lot of us have faced some pretty hot days lately. And so I know for Florida, we're trying to gear back up. We've been setting up meetings with people to call more tournaments, to get it back into visiting courses, because in theory, it should start to cool down a little bit, at least towards the end of the month of August. So, and then outside of that, whoever is the one person that books the most brand new courses and works them from, you know, today until the end of August, that winner is going to win a $200 gift card. So we wanted to go back to the basics. We've been teaching so many other things like online fundraising and different types of saving passes. And so we just wanted to get back to the basics and reward, you know, our teams for putting in some hard work. Does anybody have any questions about any of the announcements so far? Okay. So we have some shout outs. 95 super tickets sold. I got that text this morning because I was already asleep, being, you know, several hours ahead. And I'm like, what? I don't think I've ever sold that many super tickets in my life. But what followed it was almost $3,000 raised on the Cricket Hole and basically $2,700 raised on TSP. So congratulations, Noelani, Terry, and Rain. You ladies did an amazing job out there yesterday at your golf tournament. I have done that golf tournament personally for years, and I have never raised something like that, you know, in any one of those programs. So I'm super excited that that you guys were out there, and you guys, you know, really did a great job. So congratulations. And then I heard that the Gallaghers have been expanding into Wyoming. So congratulations, Gallaghers. We're so excited to see what you do out there. You do so well in Colorado with fundraising. So we're really looking forward to seeing, you know, what you teach your new team out there. So great job. We also have a young lady that just worked her very first TSP. She's been doing a couple hero days here and there, but she did a TSP at an event and raised over $2,000. So congratulations to Miss Rain in Southern California. And we have 2 new teams on the map. So we have Nick Ludman, who has worked 2 different events now in Ohio, and Lindsay just joined our team out of Washington. So we're really excited. I'm like, we're doing a lot of expanding right now. So if anybody on our team currently happens to know people who would be interested in Wyoming, Ohio, or Washington, please let us know. That was another topic that came up today on the RVP call, that a lot of us have had success building our teams off of people that we know. And so if you guys happen to know anybody in those 3 states, please let Leslie or myself know so that we can get them on board with us. All right, so honestly, tonight's training call, I was going to teach on something totally different, go over a couple things. And on our RVP call, once again, David Wills had made a couple comments about, you know, different protocol or things that he teaches his team. And I started thinking, why don't we just make that like exact protocol, or why don't we have that like listed? And it's super easy. And so we not drill it into, but, you know, like we really make that a priority to make sure that we follow these different 4 to 5 steps. And so I feel like a lot of the people on our teams are probably doing this anyway, but I wanted to break it down, kind of explain it for some of the, teammates that are on here and are new. And if, Michael, French, Noelani, anybody that's on the call that's been with the team for a while, if you have anything to add, please feel free to interrupt me and add anything that I might be missing. So step one would be to book your tournament, right? I think that a lot of people start with either getting, hero days on the books or diving into learning how to booking tournaments. So you want to go ahead, when you book your tournament, you're going to get in as many programs as you can. And a lot of times that very first year that you're booking them, you'll probably end up with 2 programs out of everything that we offer. So, you'll add it to the calendar, you'll find the coverage, depending on what you've booked with them. But then I started to think too that, gosh, if I were to only take, a couple minutes to do more homework before I got there, it could really set me up for success later. So a couple things I started thinking of are, who runs the golf course? Like, who's that general manager? A lot of times those things are posted on their website. So not always, but some of the times, or, if you just want to call and ask, at least you'd have an idea of who you should go in and talk to. And if you're new, is this already a hero course? So I'd look it up on the CRM or ask one of your managers to find out what type of course is it. So then that way, again, if you're walking in there when you're already at a golf tournament, and whether you're just wanting to introduce yourself and try to book an appointment, or if he does have time to sit down with you for a few minutes, you're going to want to know if that tournament is private, if it's a resort course, and you're trying to get in there like one day a week, or if it's a public course and you really want to just stick to like one day a month. So definitely have that in mind whenever you're, getting ready to go to that golf tournament. And then what's the clientele like coming to that event? And you'll see why in a second. But, is this tournament $80 to $100 and people are just excited in the community to come out and play? Is this tournament, $250 to $500 a player to come out? Is it a construction tournament where a lot of, big construction companies are coming out to support it? So I would look at all those different things, and you'll see why here in a second. So you want to focus on getting leads. So you booked your tournament, you're there that day, and you're going to be in front of, ideally about 60 people at minimum and probably about 150 people max. So you're not out there for like 8 hours. But you're in front of people that most likely play in other golf tournaments, that might host their own events, that support other, charities or golf events. So I just wanted to remind everybody, that this should be your second step, to utilize that opportunity that you have to be in front of all these people within, 5 to 6 hours. And you can pitch to them before they ever leave the hole. And I used to be so good at this. I definitely need to be better about teaching this, but before people would leave the hole after they demoed the drivers or whatever program I was doing, I would just give them like a quick blurb on like, hey, if any of you guys play in any other golf tournaments, or if you guys host your own, please let me know. I'd love to sponsor anything and everything. And so then, you're not taking a ton of time. There's a ton of stuff to talk to them about on the whole, no matter what program you're working. You're signing them up for savings passes or Cancun, and you're trying to pay attention to them hitting the drivers. But if you're walking with them to their carts as they're about to leave and go to the next hole, that's something that you can spit out in 10 seconds, and then maybe they have a quick card, or if you already are walking over there with your clipboard, you can write down their name and phone number really fast. And what I saw, because I think I mentioned this on a team call a few weeks ago, what I saw in getting on the mic at the banquet again, oh my gosh, I was just reminded like, wow, this is why we used to teach this back in the day. And I have steered so far from that. I never want to be on the mic. And I usually just, we're all busy. So I try to give them their stuff. I try to get out of there because who knows what event I have the next day, or I'm tired, or whatever it might be, right? We all have different things going on. But at a tournament that I did just a few weeks ago, they really wanted me to get on the mic. And so when I did, I just shared honestly that, hey, I'm brand new to Florida. I was super thankful that, so-and-so took a chance on me by adding us into this tournament just a few days ago. We were so excited to meet all of you guys. This is what we raised. This is how many Cancun trips we gave out. You saw how many people won drivers, and so on and so forth. And so I just let everybody know that if they were interested in drivers, to please come up and let us know so we can, write down their information. And if they had any information on other golf tournaments, we would absolutely love the opportunity to talk to them and get their info so that we can sponsor a couple holes or contests or whatever they would like, especially because we're new to the area. So even somebody that might be new to our company, like say California or Colorado, either state, we've been in those states for years, but you might be new, right? And we have new programs. So that same excuse or same example is still valid. So definitely make sure that, your second step is getting leads while you're there, whether it's on the mic or on the hole. What I kind of mentioned earlier and why you'll want to look up that golf course. If you're already there and they are not a hero course, go talk to somebody. A lot of times that general manager isn't busy because a lot of times the general manager isn't the tournament director. He's not in charge of the events happening that day. He's in charge of the overall golf course. And so I've walked in a few times and that general manager is in the office or is just hanging out in the pro shop because everybody's already out playing or they're all coming in for the banquet. They're going straight to that banquet room or to the bar. So if you can, obviously try to briefly pitch the hero program, explain what you did on the hole or, different programs. And I did a tournament out here in Fort Myers. And same thing, I'm like, I went actually the entire time I was there for the banquet, I raffled off the drivers. I came in because the tournament director and all of his buddies insisted on Carter and I, eating with them and hanging out more. And so I go inside and there is the general manager and he's talking to the tournament director. And so he introduced us and I'm like, hey, I've actually come by here one time to hopefully talk to you about our hero program, but you weren't around. Or we're in a meeting or something, and so I'd love the opportunity to talk to you. Well, then he was like, oh, how did it go out there today? Well, what exactly is your hero program? Oh my gosh, we'd be so interested. And I was like, wow, I was scared to come back here, because there was no way I was gonna get in to meet him again because he was not coming out of his office when I went there before. So and if they're not around, at least get the card, or try to set up an appointment. But if you're already there and it's not a hero course, why wouldn't you take advantage, to at least know who to talk to? And if it's somebody behind the desk, be as nice as you can, because again, you're representing the hero program, elite, everything we have to offer. And so if that person behind the desk likes you and they like what they're hearing without talking their ear off, of course, then they're going to pass that card off and be like, oh my gosh, it sounds like a really cool program. You should give them a call, rather than, oh yeah, this guy was didn't want to talk to me, and he just wanted to talk to you. Here's his card, or he was super rude or whatever it might be. So just keep that in mind, because those gatekeepers, they can feel your energy. They're going to see it. They're going to want to pass you along as long as you're excited. So the fourth step would be the thank you email. That I have been wanting to create for a while now, and I don't know why I haven't. So what I would personally suggest doing is sending a thank you email. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago, congratulate them on their event and things that you saw that did go well. Even if it was a 70-player tournament and they didn't have a ton of, sponsors or exciting things, hey, you guys did great. You guys helped a great cause, whatever it might be, you can bring up a couple things, but they're going to feel really happy hearing that and getting that, congratulations, because I know when I've hosted our events that that's all I wanted to hear. Right. And I want the good and the bad. I don't want to feel like somebody's just, telling me what I want to hear, but it meant a lot for people to go out of their way and to just tell me hey, great event, and so you're starting off on the right foot. You can share with them what you did for their event just so that they have it in writing one more time. A lot of times I feel like they probably throw away your tracking sheet. Who knows? But they may or may not have it after they clean up everything from the banquet. So I think just reminding them, hey, by the way, we gave out a total of, 35 trips between both our holes. We raffled off drivers. This is the amount of money, whatever you want to do to add in there. But then use that as your way to introduce another way of fundraising and while they wait, for their next golf tournament, because most charities or, tournament hosts only want to host one a year. Every now and then you'll meet somebody who puts them on all the time, but they're usually with different organizations. It's not usually the same organization. So definitely write that thank you email, congratulate them, share what you did and introduce that, savings pass for online fundraising and CC your RVP. Then the final step would be grow the event. So the fifth step, which I do automatically, I've had like my assistants do because it gets to be a lot sometimes. But what I'm promising to start doing is that anything that I work personally, I'm going to go ahead and put it in my iCalendar right away. So I can't forget, because if it's on my calendar, it's there. But make sure that you set something out from like 3 to 6 months after that tournament so you can't forget. And I send these all the time, but it might be, a month or two before their event. It could be 9 months out. It's whenever I remember. But I always bring up the like, hey, thank you so much for having us again. We would love, the chance to work with you again and at least did what we did last year. But, if you're open to checking out a couple other programs, I'd love to share them with you before any of your flyers are sent out or before it's posted online. And so it's definitely key to bring that up because it gets them thinking like, wait, what could they be showing me before we throw together our flyer? And so that is the easiest way I've learned to build in your player packages, because they want to know why. And so you can explain like, hey, like you're going to want to add this to your sponsorship packages. This is going to make you more money and we're not taking anything from that. When you highlight that there's a $100,000 shootout, I can't tell you how many emails I've seen go out from construction angels on all their different events that make sure you sign up. There's a $100,000 shootout. They love it, or you could win a hole-in-one to the Super Bowl. And so it's definitely going to grow the amount of golfers and it's just, going to enhance their tournament all the way around. So I would do a really good job, I guess, just to like recap, on making sure you book the event for however many programs, right? But do your homework, pick up on leads while you're out there on the golf course, go talk to the golf course about Hero, send that follow-up email right away so that you can build in the online fundraising. And then don't forget to reach out to that event 3 to 6 months later to potentially grow more programs into their event on whatever you missed out the first time. So does anybody have anything to add or any questions at all? I'm going to pull up the chat just in case too.
Audra, I love all this. This is so like this year has been, I think, one of the best years of adding programs and growing. It's just been off the charts. I don't know what the difference is other than we're just asking, hey, have you looked at our player packages? Or, I did send over this. Did you take a look at it? And even on the phone, it's just asking, hey, did you see my email? And then talking to them. So I love that you brought this up because just it's been crazy just bringing up like little things that kind of they want to make their events better each year. And I mean, so this is the type of thing to grow. So I love it. This is a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. And this is coming from a lady who has been with us forever and has started doing this herself pretty heavily. And you booked what, 2 more super tickets for events that are coming up in the next couple weeks, just last week?
Yeah. And it was just calling and saying, hey, I just want to, make sure that we're set, we're ready to go. And did you get my email? I just wanted to make sure you saw what we have to offer. And I found out that one of them, there's gonna be like 5 of us out on the course. So I pulled off one of our programs just to make sure that, that they were going to have a great event. And when you start caring about them and wanting them to be successful and for the players to have such a great time that next year they're wanting to come back, I think that really speaks volumes, to them, that you really care about them, that you're not just trying to make money off of them. You're really trying to help. And so he was like, well, if you're going to take that off, then how about we do a super ticket? Because I've always wanted to do that. And I was like, oh, like, you're surprised. And you're like, oh, okay. Like trying to play it cool, but I'm like jumping up and down in my head,
She's like, oh my God, Audra, I just booked another super ticket. I'm like, you always book super tickets. She's like, but this one's coming up really soon.
And it was just like, I pulled off one program and added another. So it was just like, and so he was just so grateful that I explained things and, of how over the years, this is what I've noticed, or this is being at all these events. This is what is, I've noticed or I've heard or I've seen. And so sharing your experiences is such a good thing and so helpful, Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, to be honest, that's all I wanted to cover today. I'm going to make sure I list out, the 5 steps. I'm the type that's visual. So I was thinking, I'm like, gosh, I need to just put that up on my wall, like right here at my desk so that even I have a reminder and it's super easy. And I'm like, did I do my steps? No, I didn't. Okay, I better get my stuff together. But does anybody have anything else to add? Any of our OGs on the call, or anybody new? Do you have anything to ask? Because we would love to all, help each other as a team.
Great job, Audra.
Thank you, Leslie. All right. Well, I think we can all agree that we love having team calls end early. So I will send out the recording tonight. I will attach anything that I might have mentioned in the call that'll be helpful, like the gifting posters that Morgan is adding. And then I'll list out the steps, but please let us know if we can help you guys at all with, growing your events, calling tournaments in general, and be on the lookout. I'm going to start workshop calls again for calling live tournaments. So if you guys want to join any of those, if you want me to call certain tournaments while I'm on those, I would love to help anybody and everybody in the region. So be on the lookout, and we will talk to everybody soon.
Thank you so much, Audra.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thanks so much.